You're tuned in to Control Talk Now, your control news of the week with Ken Smyers and Eric Stromquist.
Hi, this is Eric Stromquist. Welcome to Control Talk Now for the week ending June 19th, 2013. I'm here with the man, the myth, the legend, the one, the only Ken Smyers, who is not in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, but with me at the Ibicon Realcomm show in Orlando. We are broadcasting live, and Kenny, it's been quite a week, hasn't it?
Sure has, Eric. First order of business, we need to give thanks to Bill Doherty and Scott Thompson for their generous use of the Ibicon 2013 stage here. The sponsor for the stage is the Video Equipment Rentals. That's available at www.verrents.com. They have 20 offices nationally. Please use them if you can.
Yeah, absolutely. And I tell you what, those guys are great. Thanks for me as well. Hey, we're going to do something a little bit different this week. We're doing a lot of posts on what we've seen at Ibicon and Realcomm this week. But hey, we got a little special treat. We have some guests that are going to come up and help us with Control Talk Now. So I want to introduce you to our first guest. He is known for his action movies. He is a superstar, personal friend of Ian Fleming's. If you guys watch the 2012 Control Trends Awards, you know I'm talking about Bond. Mark Bond. Mark Peacock Bond. Mark, come on up. Pause. Yay. There you go, there you go, there you go. Mark, welcome to the show. Sit in the hot seat between me and Kenny.
Eric, thank you.
All right.
Ken, how are you?
All right.
Nice to see you.
All right, so Mark Peacock, Mark Bond Peacock.
Thanks,
Okay.
Eric. Appreciate that introduction.
You bet. So Mark is with LinkSpring. Tell our listeners who maybe don't know what LinkSpring does, what LinkSpring's all about.
Well, LinkSpring is a Niagara provider and developer of Niagara-based solutions and other open platforms. But you know, what we're at Ibicon, and you know, what's interesting about it, it's been a terrific event. A lot of new talk going on amongst the building owners. But you know, what's interesting is I've run into a bunch of my friends here, and or at least I want to say they're my friends. At least publicly, I'm going to say they are, but you never know. So we've lined them up to join us on this panel, and I think it's really, really important that they do. We're going to talk a little bit about what they've seen, and I guess more importantly is things that they maybe they don't want us to know. And so for my first guests, I want to call up here Tom Shercliffe and Scott Duncan. So please join us and welcome in Scott and Tom.
And I got to tell you, Mark, any bald guys that are in the controls industry are okay with me. Guys, come on in here, sit next to Mark.
Oh yeah, you have to, Scott. Exactly. Well, anyway, guys, you know, welcome, and again, had no idea that you guys were, you know, coming to Ibicon. Glad you did, Scott. You know, and sum up for our group, what's kind of been the main couple of things you've seen that has really caught your attention?
So it really kind of reinforces what we've built our business around. Building owners are looking for improved comfort and building valuations and energy efficiency, and being able to respond to, you know, demand response programs, and you know, the fault detection diagnostics. So it's like there's so much information that they want to get their hands on. You know, the whole theme here is kind of like big data, and that's kind of what we work on. You know, we got the LinkSpring hardware, we got the Niagara platform. We use that to pull information out of the buildings, and the whole theme that we've seen with the owners has been, we really, really need to improve comfort at the same time we're doing all this other stuff, because that's where building valuations come up, is when people are more comfortable, they renew leases, building valuations go up based on that. So
that's great. Now, again, you're coming from a technology provider. Tom is with Intelligent Buildings, and he's kind of coming at this from a whole total different perspective as one of the leading consultants for intelligent buildings and developing strategies for intelligent buildings. Tom, give us your take.
Well, I would agree in part about the data, and that is we're seeing a greater interest in how to get, analyze, and act on data. And that is for comfort and for energy, but also in just better decision making, whether that's how to deploy assets, how to deploy capital, when to replace things, and just really how to make better strategic decisions.
Well, great. I have a question for Scott real quick. Okay, so Scott, the term Duncanized, which I think has recently been posted on Wikipedia. Can you give us the definition, your definition, since the term is based on you?
Okay. So Duncanization is what they would call it, but basically in years gone by, we had these really huge, hairy sequences of operation that were literally 100 to 150 pages long, and the controls vendors would Duncanize their building, basically. They would take our sequences, implement them, and go through a huge commissioning process. And so the Duncanization was kind of a badge of honor. If you survived that process, it was kind of a badge of honor. So what we've done since then is taken all those huge hairy sequences and we've built them into a Niagara platform box, basically a Jenny. And so all the brain damage that goes along with the programming and the commissioning pretty much goes away. So it's much easier to get Duncanized now than it used to be, if that is a term.
That's good, Scott. Now, one thing I just caught on your conversation here, you used the term twice, hairy. Now, sorry, friend, it looks like this Duncanizing, has done something to your hair. But anyway, sorry, couldn't resist that one. So, Kenny, you've been walking around here as well as Eric. What are some things that have struck you?
Well, I think we got a better idea of who the customers are and really what they want. And I had a question for Tom. What do we see developing as far as the integrator's role in responding to the needs of the real estate people? In other words, there's a term came out, master systems integrator. And I think we would like to come back to the Control Trends community with a better explanation and description of what those services are.
Sure. Well, as all control systems have gotten more IT-centric and IT-based, there's a greater ability for those to have interoperability. So how they work together and also how they collectively put out data and just work in more synergistically. So a Master Systems Integrator is really useful because that is the best way to install and manage and optimize those all working in harmony together. So you're seeing much more of a holistic perspective and not all the traditional segmentation of all controls.
The scaling portion, we're used to dealing with one building at a time. I think some of our security systems integrators on our side of the fence typically deal with one building at a time, and I think that master systems integrator now is projecting across larger, even a global scope. So, could you explain?
Yes, sir, and that really has a lot to do with the building owner and manager strategy. So they don't have a strategy for each floor in each building. It's a portfolio strategy. It's an approach. And so if you're gonna look out across your portfolio and have certain protocol standards or certain sustainability goals or operational goals, that's got to apply across the enterprise. So that's really where you need to have a holistic view.
Just one last question for you guys. We've talked about the business side of being here, and I'm looking at you guys first thing this morning, and I saw little bloodshot eyes and all this. Tell us a little bit about when we're not talking controls, we're not talking about energy, intelligent buildings, what are we talking about? What do you do?
Well, I was in my room having room service and doing email, so I'm going to let Scott.
I watched Blackhawks for a while, and then I gave up and went back to the room and did emails. We're engineers, okay?
Over there.
Not too much excitement here.
Now you tell.
So just so you guys know, this is what controls guys look like when they're lying, okay? Well, guys, thanks so much. We got the Duncanization, the Duncanizer, and Tom, thank you so much. Mark, I think we got some more friends coming up. Guys, thank you so much.
We do. And again, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Now I've got two more friends, Daryl Thompson from Active Logics and Arthur Libinsky from DG Lux. So please welcome two new friends to our show.
Thank you, Eric. Good to be here.
Daryl, nice to see you.
Dan.
Arthur, welcome. We appreciate it.
Pleasure. How are you?
So guys, we had two of my friends up there. Obviously, I've got more than two friends, thank goodness. And just want to talk, Daryl, tell me a little bit about what Active Logics does.
Well, Active Logics is the developer of Periscope technology, which is a dashboard which allows the user to configure their dashboard to visualize the data coming from their building or building systems in any fashion that they want. So it's completely user configurable. So the owner can provide a dashboard for himself that shows energy costs. The facility operations guys can have the systems or visualization of the systems in the building to understand if there's a problem with an air handler or a chiller.
That's great. Arthur, tell us a little bit about DG Lux.
Sure. So DG Logic, we actually have two technologies. One is DG Lux, which stands for DG Logic User Experience, and this is the visualization platform. In comparison, it's very similar to Photoshop. You can paint any picture you want, but it's data-driven to a variety of data sources, building automation platforms, and so on. And in addition to that, we have the appliance platform, which is DG Box, which is essentially DG Lux in a box for smaller applications.
So a question, same that I asked my other two friends is, we're here at IBCon in Orlando. What truly has kind of inspired you or really resonated with you from the sessions we've all been in and the exhibits and things like that?
I would say just one of the things that always impresses me is the fact of the proliferation of the Niagara platform through all the other exhibitors that are here and showing what they've taken the platform to the next level to help customers to, again, in our case, visualize data and understand what's going on in their facilities, as well as the great tools that you guys have developed.
So what I think is very interesting is that I think that the buildings industry and the building data is becoming to tie into other ecosystems now as well. So it's not just about building data on multiple levels, right? It's all the way from executives to the actual managers of the facilities to the tenants and the kiosks. But now people are beginning to tie in financial data into this, right? Reporting, tenant billing, and it's becoming a bigger ecosystem. And I think this is very exciting.
Eric? Yeah, well, it really is. I think one of the guests that we had was Daryl Smith from Microsoft, and what he told us about what he did with the data, the type of data that you guys are able to push up to the analytics platform was pretty mind-blowing, wasn't it, Mark? I mean, just...
Oh, absolutely. And one of, many things that I've seen here is, it all used to be about integrating the different platforms together, okay? We never, in the old days, talked about data. It is now data, 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 and data, and it's all driven that way. A couple other questions, that just come to mind as well is, what do you feel that are the building owners themselves starting to get more and more involved in the actual decision-making of technology, the business side of this? How are you guys starting to see that?
I think from our perspective, we are starting to see a gradual trend toward more and more people within the executive team being interested in what's going on. Part of that may be driven by the fact that there's so much more emphasis on sustainability and green messaging because they can then take that message out to either their employees or if they're, say, a university system, to the students and to the community as a whole to say this is what we're trying to do in order to impact the world and make it a better place.
Great.
I also think that they're beginning to be a lot more hands-on. So as opposed to just having one provider, taking on their tools and having them manage it, they actually start learning the tools themselves, making choices themselves, right? Acting on it, customizing things themselves due to your platform and ours. And I think this is very good. They're taking ownership of their buildings. It's almost personal now.
Right. Very true.
You make it look so easy. Can you explain the technologies that are behind the visualization and why that's so important in the human interface? Why that's just much more effective than the spreadsheets, the graphs, and the charts?
Yes, absolutely. We think that the best analytics tool that exists is actually the human brain. So the key is to present information to that human brain in such a way that it can easily comprehend it. It can identify patterns, right, in a snap of a second and make a decision. PCs can do it for you. It's really us, right, that are doing this analytics. And I think that visualization is one of the best ways to be able to present that. Now, yes, you're absolutely right. It's pretty complicated. There's a lot of work into that design, right, elements, and really studies on how a person can recognize patterns. And we in particular do this with things like auto-build graphics, things like the DVR functionality that lets you trend large amounts of information, right, to see it at a glance. And not just even heat maps, but heat maps that are pinpointed, right, that can overlap on top of each other to look at, 500 points and still give you an understanding of where the problem areas are within a minute or two.
Now, let me ask this to the two of you. I was out a little bit last night, albeit not too late. Now, we won't say what time that was. And I did see the two of you on International Boulevard right out here, kind of, Anyway, anything you want to let our Control Trends audience know about your evenings last night? Again, what do control guys do when they're not when they're not talking about controls?
Remember, we're watching your faces now.
Mark, I think I'll have to plead the fifth on that.
Oh, come on, Daryl, I've known you for too long now. Come on, come on.
Well, we are in Orlando, right? We're in Florida, and it's sunny and it's warm, and we'll just say that there are some very beautiful women in Florida.
Very good, very good. Finally, an honest answer. Yeah, Arthur.
Well, I'm actually very disappointed that you didn't join us. It would be fantastic. But on the other note, it is Orlando. It's beautiful weather, and this time we got a convertible, and we're just riding around town.
So I'm just going to put this in a completely different frame. So what Control Talk Now is about, this live version, is what control guys talk about when they're not talking about women or booze, right? All right, so this is what we talk about for sure.
Well said. Anyway, we want to thank you guys for joining us, and I actually have one more friend who's waving at me, and I want to get him on as soon as we can. Now, I've got two more friends. I actually found another one running around here. John Leslie from the NGM Grand, and Kent Madsen from NetOp. Now, I'll just go ahead and say this. Kent, by far, is one of my friends who has traveled the furthest to join us here at IBCon. Kent is from NetOp, and he's based in Denmark. So, again, Kent, I thank you for joining us here in sunny Orlando. John, an old-time buddy, as well from NGM. So a couple of things we're kind of asking people is, you've been at the show, you've been here for a day and a half now. What is the one or two things that has really caught your eye, resonated with you? John, I'll start with you.
Well, what I'm impressed with is it seems you have the top leaders and the top movers and shakers in this industry. I've never seen such a big congregation of people that are so smart, and so it's just been great. I've learned so much, and it's been a thrill to be here.
That's great. And again, John, for our traditional building controls guys, he is from the end user. So it's really good to see the interactions and involvement from the end user community. Now, Kent, Kent is from the cyber security world, and Kent, a little bit about what's going on in the building automation space and cybersecurity, and what are some of the things you've noticed here as a first timer at this event?
Well, I had a couple of really interesting dialogues during the days here and meeting this industry, because it's not been an industry that we have traditionally been focusing on. But of course, we have lately seen more and more indicators of why we should be interested in this industry, which is, of course, the almost unfortunately weekly breaches of intelligent buildings and those systems, and that's a world where we come from, where we provide compliant, secure remote access into industries that require to adhere to PCI compliance, HIPAA compliance, Sarbanes-Oxley, Basel in Europe. So we do that in making sure that we get the ease and the operational benefits from being able to connect to any device from anywhere in the world, but still doing it in a secure manner. So we talk remote access, data transport, data storage, and some of these. And it's very interesting to see the convergence in this industry, where we see the building automation, all the technology that goes into buildings now, and how the industry is learning that we need to talk to other parts of the company. And right now there's a dilemma there where we don't want to talk to the other ones that has technology and IT, because we want our ease of operations and all the benefits from that, but we kind of want to do it our own way, because IT is a hassle for us. So I see that as an interesting stage, of maturity in the industry. In intelligence buildings, really had some interesting discussions with some of the leaders here.
Kenny, you come from your real job as being one of the leading system integrators. Where do you see cybersecurity? Are you starting to see that more and more from your customers asking, or is that something that you guys are taking an active role in discussing cybersecurity with building automation and energy management?
Mark, that's a great question. I think what's happening is it's a learning process, and it's a matter of, like Kent said, everybody was kind of selfishly controlling the benefits of their departments without disturbing, and getting involved in something that nobody really knows. There's no job description for this development that's coming on us very rapidly. It's weekly, exposures, and you've wrote some great articles about it too. I have a security background. I was in the Air Force in security, physical security mostly, but I've been waiting. It's long overdue, and we're looking for guidance, and we're looking for the people that can provide it, on a routine basis, so that you can use it at every level. I think in the big levels, the people are pretty well taking care of things because they have the resources to do it. I think the most vulnerability is in that smaller to middle size, and so the guidelines that we provide, I think we need to get them out there right away.
Okay, very good. Now, Eric, again, as one of the leading distributors on your real job at StromQuest and Company, how about yourself? Is your band of customers starting to talk about security?
Yeah, they sure are, Mark. I think it was something people took for granted. I mean, when you realize that most systems integrators that install a security, they don't even change the passwords on them. It's the default password. So I think our role as a distributor, becoming the hub of getting the information and the products out there, we really have to educate the systems integrators. It's like, hey, don't do drugs, stay in school, and change the passwords.
Very good. Now, last thing, and then we'll get off the security side. John, as an end user, and again, in probably practicing security in one of the most admired industries in the gaming industry and in the hospitality industry, how do you view it?
Well, security, of course, is very, very important, and especially when you're dealing with casinos. And not only you have customer lists that are very confidential, but anything is of the most high importance. In the gaming business, we have to have security. When the regulations with the gaming commissions are so strict that even if we lost power for a little bit or lost the lighting, they could pull our license or shut down the gaming operations. And also in the security rooms when we're watching the tables, if we lose any cameras or anything like that, anything goes out, that's a potential reason for a shutdown. So I'm on fortunately I'm not into that division, but if they shut down my air conditioning for one of these security rooms, monitoring rooms, we would lose it. So yeah, I guess we're all vulnerable.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so now again, part of our discussion here is what do people in controls do when they're not doing controls? And I'm going to start with Kent. We didn't go out last night. We went out the night before or whatever. So tell us a little bit about, what you've been doing when you're not talking about security, you're not talking about controls down here in Orlando.
Real quick before you answer, I want to give you the secure answer, okay? In case you didn't hear, the secure answer is I was in my room answering emails. But that's being said, you just say.
Okay, yeah. Obviously, yeah. I have to tread carefully here because a Dane from Copenhagen in Orlando, in itself. What's the best answer to that? I love the fireworks I saw off my hotel at 9 p.m. last night from Disney World, from the resort. I can actually look that because I'm in a hotel closer to that resort than from here. So I think probably that view of that fireworks is probably the best answer I can get without getting into trouble.
Kind of being in the, you're in the security business, I really like the way you phrase this. You said, being in my hotel room at 9 p.m. Okay, so for all the viewers, if your wife looks at this, he was in his hotel room at 9 p.m., so that's safe. Now, John, I have to confess, John and I, we went out last night. Beautiful dinner, and while we did not, truly abuse the liquid refreshments, I think we had a good time. So
great time. Fantastic dinner. So
that's great. Well, anyway, we want to thank you guys for joining us and have a rest of the show and look forward to talking to you guys later on. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thanks, John. Thank you so much.
Control Talk and Control Trends, we've got New York coming up at BB King. And obviously, we are in the active planning process. And I have to tell you, we are ready to be pushing the envelope.
So Mark, real quick, so there was a purpose in Mark asking those questions. For our audience out there who's going to be at the Control Trends Awards, this is how you get your alibi lined up. We had trained professionals up here who answered the questions. What were you doing in Orlando? Fast forward to January 21st. What were you doing in New York? Right, Mark?
That's right. And, you know, New York is a great place. I worked there for many, many years. Lots of good opportunities and lots of places to get in trouble with. But, again, we really want you to get in trouble with us at the Control Trend Awards at BB King's.
I can't wait, Mark. You're right, New York is one of the most exciting places on the earth. And New York's Times Square. It's very close to the Javits Center, the BB King Blues Club. And we're going to have very exciting events planned. It's going to be an exciting show. Eric, why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, all I got to say is P-Talk, baby, because Mark is going to be our master of ceremonies again. So as long as we got Mark involved, it is going to be off the chain. We're excited about it. We've got some people that reached out early to become sponsors, which are going to allow us to spend more money. Our goal is we want to take it over the top. Our continuing mission in life is to let everybody else on the planet know what rock stars control guys are. And so we are just absolutely thrilled about the Control Trends. We hope you can join us. We have some steps going forward. I'll let Kenny tell you a little bit about that, about the nomination process and how that's going to work. So Kenny, take that.
Right, Eric, thank you. It's a great opportunity to become involved in the nomination process. Please go to the LinkedIn or go to controltrends.org and sign up and become part of the actual deciding process. We don't know everything, we can't see everything. We work from our experiences forward, but we need more involvement, and we'd like to, we invite the participation. You get involved in the nomination process first, and then when the voting time comes, then you can vote. But help us recognize the people that we're not aware of. Help us get the cream to the top and give the superstars and heroes of our industry some recognition. And also, Eric, I wanted to make sure that we have some special awards that we're giving out at the show. And that's also a very exciting part of the show.
And real quick before I give the mic back to Mark, so in comments, your best excuse when you go to one of these control things, the best excuse gets a free ticket to the Control Trends Awards.
That's right. And again, I want to thank Ken and Eric for allowing me to have a little bit of fun today and be part of Control Talk, and look forward to seeing you at the Control Trend Awards in New York at BB King's. I am also pleased to announce that Linkspring is agreed to be one of the many platinum sponsors. So again, we are excited to be part of it. We are extremely excited to participate in this wonderful, wonderful event and awards. And again, get everybody out there, participate, vote, join us. Thank you.
Hang on, Mark. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So we have 2 platinum sponsorships after this. So Mark, thank you to you and Linkspring for the platinum sponsorship. We really appreciate it. And you know, it's a special honor. Why don't you take us home and lead us out of Control Talk now?
Thank you, Eric. This is Control Talk, the week ending sometime in June, whatever it is. We'll just go from there. But thank you.
Indeed.
You got to go.
Oh,
no, look at Kenny go. He's got to go now.
Indeed.
Indeed. Come on, say it, Kenny.
Indeed.
Thank you all.